Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Litecoin Underground podcast, videocast. We're live on X again. Unfortunately, we don't have my co-host Animal. He couldn't make it today. He had to do spaces on Wednesday because I couldn't make it. And so I'm doing this live alone because he couldn't make it. But we're going to explore a little bit about the new Decred DEX. It used to be called Decred DEX, now called Bison Wallet. We've got Exitus in here. As you guys know, I'm always kind of interested in how do we use these tools on a regular basis, and in permissionless systems is the way to go. So I'm kind of interested to learn because I know you guys talked about this. I mean, Exitus here is my guest. I'm fairly new to meeting him, but I know I've explored the first versions of this in the past. And I think they've got a really cool tool that is worth exploring for Litecoiners and should bring some value to you. So welcome, Exitus. Like I said, you and I don't really know much about each other, so maybe that's good. We'll just kind of get into the topic. I mean, I don't know. If you want to tell me a little bit about yourself, though, you said you've been working on Decred for a while. What's kind of your history just getting maybe into crypto and how you ended up with Decred and all that?
Yeah, it's great to be here to talk about Bison Wallet. It's a great product for the Litecoin community, and for myself, I've been in Decred in Litecoin since around 2017, and over the last few years, I've done some video work, some marketing work, and just trying to get the word out about Decred. Decred does have a self-funded treasury where 10% of every block reward does go into a treasury, which allows us to pay people to work and improve the protocol, and this is exactly how DCR DEX, or what it's now called Bison Wallet, that's how it's funded via block rewards. So we don't have to go to any venture capital company. We don't have to rely on donations, and it allows us to build free and open source software that hopefully makes the crypto space better.
Yeah, because Decred went through you guys went from proof of work to proof of work / proof of stake or something at some point, right? Or am I remembering that correctly?
So Decred started as its hybrid proof of work, proof of stake, with 60%
Okay.
of the block reward going to proof of work, 30 to proof of stake, and 10% going to the treasury. However, basically what happened is we kind of saw that the ASIC mining was so centralized in that you have these manufacturers that are able to just pump out these ASICs, and then they get the majority of the hash rate and they get the majority of the block reward. And we just felt that wasn't a good strategy for us. So the community voted. So in Decred, you can vote on chain to change the consensus rules, and we voted to basically brick the ASIC miners. We switched the hashing algorithm to now it's GPU mined, and only 1% of the block reward is going to proof of work. 80%
Oh,
is going
geez.
to proof of stake, and then of course the treasury.
So where's
Sorry,
the other nine?
89% is go
Yeah, I was like,
89%.
where's
Yeah,
the other
yeah,
9%? You're like, to me, I get the
yeah.
rest of
They've
it.
they've changed it a few times, but yeah, basically that's what happened. We saw the ASIC mining wasn't working out for us, and you give your coins to these miners, and they just dump them on the market, and it kind of destroys your price discovery and your chart. And it was kind of a growing pain for us, but that's kind of where we're at now. It's majority proof of stake, but it is still hybrid proof of work, proof of stake, to where the GPU miners are still playing a part in finding the new blocks.
Yeah. So, give me some basics on Decred. Like, I know because this was something again. Anybody who was I call myself class of 2017. I'll probably tell a story. I just on a whim bought Bitcoin in 2016. I had a buddy, somebody at work told me about it. Bought very little of it, but I got obviously engaged in 2017 when things were going crazy and all the ICOs, and you explored all these different coins, and we're looking for something that was like, okay, what's different but has similar qualities. If you understood, like, hey, it's got to be proof of work, it's got to have a decentralized nature, cap supply, and all that. And I know Decred was one. I probably bought it and sold it long ago. But what's the kind of like, we have our Litecoin's got 84 million fixed supply, blah blah blah. What's the basics of Decred's, like, I guess the vital statistics of Decred?
Sure. So similar to Bitcoin, it's 21 million coins capped. Uh, trying to 5 minute block time.
Okay.
Let me pull up some more statistics. Uh,
It was primarily a privacy coin, right? Wasn't that the idea
no,
initially?
The
Oh,
main
I guess.
idea behind it is it's that there's built-in blockchain governance. So coin holders can choose to stake their coins, and then they can vote on chain on different consensus issues or proposals. Like I said, we have a treasury, and we have to decide how to spend that treasury, and we do that via proposals. But
Okay.
basically, what occurs is developers or any community member can propose a change to the blockchain itself, and we've had a number of different consensus changes. Consensus rules are basically the core rules of the network, whether that be block time, block reward, all those different things. It's like the most important rules of the network, and it's like something in Bitcoin you would never seen change, but in Decred, it's something we can change because we have uh, this voting and governance and consensus system.
And
Um,
that's the proof of stake nature to it.
Exactly. Like, as a stakeholder, once you stake your coins, you can now vote on the different changes. And the more you stake, the more voting power you have. And as
So
of right now, over 60% of the circulating supply is stake. So that's over 10 million Decred is currently locked in this proof of stake system. Because when you stake your coins, you're actually locking them for a set amount of time. So the general idea is you can't lock your coins, vote on things, then unlock your coins. And so let's say you vote on something really bad, you unlock your coins and sell and get out. It's like if you stake, you're locked in for like months at a time. So it kind of
hmm,
incentivizes people to make good decisions.
interesting. So the functioning is, does it function very similarly in the sense that it's UTXOs and you
Exactly right.
can
It's
go
it's
see the
very
blockchain and
similar,
all that type of stuff?
to the Bitcoin code base. It's similar to Litecoin as well, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
all correlated, and that's why we were able to add Litecoin to the DEX. It was trivial to add, right? UTXO wasn't much work to get that added.
Isn't it funny? That's like one of Litecoin's biggest strengths, honestly, is that it's so similar to Bitcoin that it's an easy port over. And that's why I think most everybody offers Litecoin. And probably one of the
Oh
reasons
yeah.
why, like you said, it's a great tool. Um, yeah, these things that kind of I always say, I talk about Charlie all the time, and some of the things he's done have always been, I don't know if they were on purpose or just happy accidents. It was like saying, you know what? Obviously, we're gonna change the merge. We're gonna change the algorithm. We don't want to compete with Bitcoin. That was a smart move, right? And then we're gonna make it basically the same, and merge mining with Doge, and these things that over time have proven to be really positive for Litecoin. Uh, I don't know that he saw this far in the future, but just knowing that keeping things as similar as possible has ended up making it much easier to add to things. So, um, yeah, and let me pull up the decks if you don't mind. So, you have 5 minute blocks. Why have, just out of curiosity, why have the 1% proof of work? Why even bother at that point?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's something. Obviously, it's not going to be attractive to many people. They wanted to retain the proof of work element just because going to pure proof of stake would have required a ton of work. And they've
Okay.
said they might go to pure proof of stake at some point, but it's basically this way you don't have to change too many things. Um, and there's some people who GPU mine. There's not many, but most of the security in the network is coming from the proof of stake element. Like the vast majority of it's coming from proof of stake. So it's not whether or not the hash rate's high or low doesn't really make much of a difference. But yeah, that was kind of a tricky change within the community of how do we navigate the proof of work miners and that kind of thing. So some people were very upset. Some people were okay with it.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, the miners are probably extremely upset. They had ASICs and they just were out of luck, huh? Were they able to do anything else with those machines?
I don't think so. I think without Decred at one point was one of the most profitable ASICs. It was really amazing, and to us it almost felt like they were being overpaid for what they were doing. Um, but yeah, it's over and done with. They
So
they
how
made that change. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna get sideways here, away from. I'll get into the decks at some point, but I want to ask you a couple things about this. So, A, how did that happen? Like, how did the community make the changes and just everybody move to a different node? Like, how do you abandon the miners like that without their permission
Well, the
or
nodes
without their
didn't
say? Yeah,
change. The
without
the
them
nodes
making the
all
change.
so
Sorry.
so there was a whole process where they put together a proposal and they said, "Hey, this is what's going on. The proof of work element's not working out. too much of the coin supply is going to ASIC miners, and we're gonna alter things to kind of try to fight this.
Okay.
Basically, they just saw that there was like massive dumping. Well, and here's the thing: if you look at Bitcoin and even I would say Litecoin, the
Yep.
miners were some of the earliest supporters of the protocol, right? Like they were the
Hmm.
biggest supporters of Bitcoin. But with many of these altcoins, and I would say the same with Zcash and Dash, who've also their price discovery hasn't been great. A lot of the miners are just there to mine the coins and sell them to Bitcoin, right? It's completely different. And we had miners even admit this, that in some of the mining pools, there was a toggle switch you could toggle to where once they mined the coins, they would immediately sell them to Bitcoin. And it was just like,
Right.
man, this is not the right path. Like we can't get the majority of our block award to people just immediately selling who don't have faith in the core cryptocurrency itself. So
Right.
yeah, that was a decision we made. Some people like it, some don't.
Well, as
Some
I'm
people
saying,
are
but
criticism.
how did that happen though? Because if I'm, I'm
Okay.
being naive about how the functioning would work because I look at
Okay.
like any changes to the core have to be validated by the miners. So did the miners
What,
obviously didn't
well,
voluntarily want to brick their machines. So
Well, that that's a
how
very
did that
that's a
happen?
very good point. So in Decred, the stakeholders are the coin holders are the ones who override the miners. They are the ones who get the final say. They are the ones who vote. And as for the miners, yes, they do have to upgrade their software. I mean, they have a deadline to when they upgrade, and if they don't upgrade, they get forked off the network. So
Oh, so
that's
really their lack of like foresight and the fact that they were dumping is what made them susceptible to this.
Yes, that is true. Is this probably could have been avoided, and I think a lot of people would have preferred to avoid this just because it was on some level controversial. But yeah, they they were just selling their coins, and but yeah, to go back to my point, they if the miners have to upgrade. If they don't, they get forked off the network. So in Decred, all of the power is in the coin holders. So you don't have to worry that a bunch of ASIC miners in China control the network, which I think
Mhm.
is quite nice because some people say in Bitcoin that's kind of happened where what the developers want to do sometimes rivals what the miners want to do, and since the miners have the final say, the miners basically control the network.
Mhm.
So they might block
Well,
upgrades, they might block important decisions, and that kind of thing.
yeah, so that not only that, like the other part, I've and I like to come from things like I like to think I know a lot of stuff. But there's certainly a lot of game theory that we make assumptions in crypto or we look in the future and go, well, this is how things will play out. But I'm not this is like heresy in Litecoin and Bitcoin to say that maybe proof of stake isn't the worst thing long term. I think proof of work as a distribution model is actually probably the most fair way you can distribute a coin um, initially. But once you've got full distribution, um, I still would like to explore the idea of like, is that really how you need to maintain the net forever? Um, because I agree with you on some things about like it trends towards centralization. We can already see it, right? So it becomes like whoever can accumulate the most energy is the winner, and whoever can buy the most energy is the winner. And guess who has unlimited pockets? Governments. So that's a thing you
Exactly.
have to be aware of. And so um, I've always from the mindset of I think obviously I'm a Litecoin fan. I've had a podcast for almost 3 years talking about it, but I think it's great that there's different experiments going on and people uh, toying with different security models because it'd be kind of crazy to assume that hey the first one is the best one and no questions asked forever. Like that's just highly unlikely. And I'm not, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Satoshi he did fix an obviously a difficult thing. He wasn't the um, it's not like he stumbled on proof of work and just it happened to work. He had to figure out a way to solve all the problems with digital money that he was solving, and that's what he arrived at. And it's the first thing that worked, and maybe it is the only thing that worked. I like the idea that people are out experimenting with other options because I think to just assume that we've already figured it out is just anti-human nature, right? We should always be exploring different ways of doing things. So, all right, let's get into your decks. Let's get into the decks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say back in the day, it used to be one CPU, one vote, and now obviously that's completely changed and for
Yeah, and
sure.
it is too bad, right? Like, I mean, if we were talking about utopia, it would be, let's here, let me pull this up real quick. Have I would say that's to me the most what the heck? This is not what I wanted here. Sorry, guys. It would be we hang on a second. I had it up here. Oh, here we go. Okay. It would be more, everything should be as decentralized as possible. So I just look at that as one of the things we have to be aware of. So, all right. So here you can see, let me just see if I can go to the home page of it. This is the Bison Wallet. It used to be called DCR DEX. The reason they wanted to rename it is that it's not, you don't have to be a Decred holder. You don't have to even use Decred in any way. Is this kind of like your first, I've seen you guys is this like it's been polished, it's ready to go? Are you guys, um, this is your best manifestation you've had so far? Because if you've done some interviews recently, are you going to be adding a lot of things in the future as well?
Yeah, so this is the version 1 release. It should all work pretty well. As you can
Okay.
see, there's a number of different coins supported. Obviously, Bitcoin, Litecoin. The big part of this release was adding Polygon, which is a layer 2 Ethereum, and
Yeah.
basically what that means is like the fees are super super low. So
Yeah.
earlier we did have Ethereum, but the fees were so high it made doing atomic swaps super painful. But with the Polygon, every swap is like less than 1 cent in fees, so it works. It works so well. Uh, Now you'll see with Litecoin, Bitcoin, and Decred, it's and Polygon, it's all integrated wallets. But if you click on like Firo or Zcash, you actually need to add an external wallet, and the reason for that is they don't have SPV wallets. So the
Mm.
DEX makes pretty heavy uses of SPV wallets, which are privacy preserving wallets where you verify your own transactions, but you still look to full nodes. Um, I think they are looking to add Electrum for a number of wallets. For Firo, you can use Electrum, but for others like Zcash and Dash, you need to download full nodes, which is pretty painful. So hopefully at some point they're going to work to fix those and make the user experience better. But yeah, as you
So
can see, this
doesn't Doge
okay.
have light wallets or SPVs
I
and
think it has
Bitcoin Cash?
Electrum. So
Okay.
a number of wallets do have Electrum. I don't know why they don't all use Electrum in the DEX right now. Um, but I think that's going to be added. But for Bitcoin, Decred, Litecoin, they are using SPV wallets, and that kind of strikes a good balance of like you're verifying your own transactions, they're privacy preserving. You don't have to rely on some Electrum server, and they still sync pretty fast. Like I don't know if you can click on your Bitcoin wallet and uh, maybe it's synced already. I don't know how fast your internet speed is.
I mean, I just opened
Uh,
this up. I
okay,
set it up like a few days ago because you'd mentioned it, and then just
yeah.
obviously I've had it up for maybe a half hour this morning. But so is this synced at this point?
You can check the blog sync
Oh,
right above
oh,
settings. So it's
82%.
82%.
Oh, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. That's pretty
Yeah.
good considering. So these are wallets. This is obviously a self custody wallet.
Yes,
I'm
this is a native wallet running on your computer.
and whose
And
node am I like?
you just connect to if you look on the right above the sync, it says peer count. So what it does is it will try to connect to 8 random different nodes to get the block header. So it's not connecting to just one node, it tries to find 8 different ones.
Oh, so I'm actually I have a Bitcoin, a Decred, an Ethereum, a Litecoin, and a Polygon SPV wallet. This is all of them put together on my.
So
This isn't like I'm. It's not like I'm communicating with somebody else's node.
the nodes look to the SPV wallets look to headers from full nodes. They do rely on full nodes to some degree, but the entire network does. But the important thing is you're not looking at like third-party Electrum servers to get things.
Yeah,
So
I'm
these are
still.
probably
I got a lot to learn about this stuff too. So
yeah,
I might say some stupid things as we go through here.
it's confusing because SPV has changed over time and it has gotten better. So this is using the new variant of SPV where it's privacy preserving. Uh, and it's actually the Bitcoin wallet is actually using Taproot, which, as far as I know, not many Bitcoin wallets have upgraded to that yet. So
Mm-mm.
this is one of the newer wallets. And for Litecoin, the SPV, the DEX developers actually went into the Litecoin repos and like updated to the SPV. And I know some of the Litecoin developers can confirm that I'm not making that up. So Litecoin is using the new variant of SPV here, which is really nice.
Okay.
And for Polygon and Ethereum, they don't have SPV, but they're using Infura. So it is a centralized Ethereum service, and that's just how Ethereum and Polygon operate. They look at these centralized services, uh, but you'll notice the Polygon wallet just starts up instantly.
Yeah,
And
so
it,
we still got a long way to go on Litecoin here. I'm only at 25%. So do I need to wait to 100% before I can use it?
yeah, like you can send it coins, but it won't show the coins until it's at 100%.
Oh, all right. We might have to chat for a while because it's not going very fast. Is it
Yeah.
even if I'm not on the screen? It's
Well, if you're syncing Decred
syncing?
and Bitcoin at the same time, it might be taking resources from that. So maybe you can try to stop Decred, or it's
How
pretty
do I
interesting.
do?
Bitcoin's the
Go to settings.
fastest to sync. Uh,
We'll just
yeah,
wait. It shouldn't take because Bitcoin's almost done. I think at least. But anyway, um, well, why don't we walk through the wallet? So obviously, as Litecoiners, let's use this so I can send and receive. It's got an exchange rate. It explains my fees. And today we just have one market. And why don't we do that part? Because I know one of the things you can be a market maker, correct? This is something I've done some. I'm a big fan of Thorchain, so I like the market making and I like the ability to decentralize, swap, all that stuff. But what the difference is obviously with Thorchain, there's a token involved that may or may not be necessary, right? We're learning about that. So when
yeah.
I go in
So
here, I can buy and sell, not a lot of depth today, right? Because
yeah,
you guys
yeah.
just launched it. But yeah, how do users become those market makers?
Sure. So just quickly to explain, obviously this is a familiar order book. You have buy and sell orders on each side, and if you actually see new orders coming online with whenever you see an order with a check mark next to it on the left there, that's actually people running market makers on the order book itself. I just saw some come online, but yeah, it just launched, so liquidity is not great.
Wait,
Uh,
where's the check mark? Say it again.
it'll be in the order book itself. So just go to your right there.
Yeah.
You see the order book with the orders. So maybe every few minutes you'll see it update with new orders, new check marks because people are running market makers.
Okay.
Uh, but basically, yeah, it just launched. So that's a big part of what we're doing now is trying to get awareness to so people will start using this. But for the market makers, if you go to your top right, you should see a robot icon because they're
Yep.
bots. Yep, you click that.
Should I zoom in? I mean, this is probably. I hope this is visible. Someone on their phone might have a hard time. This is kind of small. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger here. Whoa, let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Uh,
So from there, you just click create a bot.
okay.
You
No
have to
markets.
register. You have to click register.
Okay.
I'll send you a code. So basically, to register on the DEX, you either need $1.20 of Decred, or I can send you a prepaid bond code. So let me send you a
Oh,
code really
do you want
quickly.
me to? Do you want me to blur this so that not everybody can use the free code, or do you just want to
Well,
say, you know what,
the,
in the interest
the,
of?
it's just a one-time code. So once you use it, it's
Oh,
done.
okay. The prepaid.
Yeah.
All right.
So check Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. Did you put it in the comments or no? Hang on a second.
I messaged you.
Oh, it's no joke here. All right.
I think I haven't used that one. Let's see.
Hopefully nobody rugs me. They front ran me. Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I've already.
I clicked it
Okay.
twice. No, I'm good, right?
Okay, yeah, it's registered. So from here,
So here.
you would click Litecoin USDT, and then
Okay.
you would select basic market maker. But basically, there are multiple types of bots. There's a basic market maker which exists on the DEX itself. However, you can do arbitrage with exchanges. So you can arbitrage with right now you can do Binance and Binance US. And
Okay.
happens there is you would connect your Binance account with the DEX, and they are working on adding more exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken, and maybe even like MEXC. So it's really interesting. You can literally arbitrage directly with an exchange if you want to. Uh,
So what that does is that prevents me from. It just keeps me with the current market rate.
So
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 I'm
if
not
like
like
the
getting a bad trade. I'm not being arbitraged, right? That's the whole point, is that I don't lose 3% or 5% just because there's not enough liquidity, type of thing.
Well, it's like if the price shoots up on, say, the exchange, you can arbitrage and make profit by having orders execute on the DEX itself, to where it's like, let's say there's like a pretty big difference, which sometimes happens. Or
Right.
maybe on the DEX, there's, someone comes in, buys a bunch, shoots up the price. Your bot will automatically start buying on Binance to arbitrage and make you some money.
Okay. But then yeah, I mean, the drawback to that is I've got to be a registered user of Binance and track all those transactions, and right. It removes a little bit of the decentralized nature of it. But what I like about it is somebody who's maybe a business owner, or yeah, it wants to receive this but wants to liquidate quickly. They won't miss out on the market itself. They won't, they won't be, yeah, they won't be played by the
Right.
market in a way, right? They won't be
And
taken
and
advantage of.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the basic market maker looks at oracles, so it looks at the real world price of things. So in a way, it kind of does arbitrage on its own.
Oh, it
So
does. Okay.
yeah, so if you just click submit there, you can go to the next page.
So I should use the basic one.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to configure I assume you're American, so you can't use Binance, and Binance US I don't think has the best liquidity.
Yeah.
So I would
So, but
just do this for now.
do I have to have a Binance account to do this?
No.
Oh, okay.
If you want to do arbitrage, so it's like that's why the other two options aren't selectable right now, because you would need to configure your Binance account.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that
In
for
order to do the arbitrage, I do have to have a Binance account, obviously, because I've got to be able to interact with the exchange,
right.
buy and sell on that exchange. Okay. Well, let's hope. I'm hopeful that we're going to get to a future where. Uh oh, I don't have oh, it's got
Yeah.
created.
So let's
Um,
see. I might have to send you some Polygon.
no,
Okay.
it's
Yeah. Let
yeah.
me let me so to authorize to activate the USDT and USDC wallets, you need like as you can see, you need 0.002 Polygon, which is like not even a cent. So
I
send
just
me
sent you
your
my address there,
yeah, send me
if
your
you want to send
Polygon
it.
address and I can send you some.
I just sent it to you. Oh, I guess we gotta wait.
Right. Yeah, you need a little bit of Polygon, which I can send to you.
So these are
So
just kind of some initial, this is your guys' version of KYC in a way. It's like, not that it's KYC, but um, everybody's got to go through a couple steps to get on a new exchange, and one of them is throw a couple of bucks in your wallet, right? So
well,
all
it's like
fees
to
are paid in Polygon.
well, it depends what pair you're trading with. If you're trading with Polygon pairs, you're using Polygon. But let's say you do Litecoin to Bitcoin, then you would only pay those on-chain transaction fees between Litecoin and Bitcoin. So it just depends what pair you're using. But this is to activate the contract. So it's
Okay,
not a fee the DEX is taking. This is literally just how Matic operates. So yeah, let me send you some.
I've never used Matic before.
Now you get
That's
to
how
use it.
2017 I am. I don't use coins created after 2017. All right, shouldn't take long, right?
Okay, so I sent you a few. Let's see if you go back to your wallets, if you
Oh, do I?
just click back there.
Oh, it won't. Okay, try it. Maybe it'll.
If you click on the X, yeah, go back to your wallet. Yeah, right there. So I just sent you some. Maybe it will take a minute.
Okay.
Let's see. Send.
It's all right. I know it's live, but don't worry. People like to sit here and just look at us. That's the important part.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Action.
So last week we had, or just a couple weeks ago, we had the guy from Bit Refill on, and we talked a lot about stable coins, and he said like there's this migration where Ethereum was the dominant stablecoin network for a long time, and then obviously Tron came in, and Polygon is now kind of usurping Ethereum and even a little bit of Tron. Maybe it's kind of funny because Tether's It's like that Tether can't have its own network, which is a little bit weird. It must have its own network though, right? Doesn't it? Or am I crazy?
It's a coin on Ethereum. All right, so there you go. You got your. I sent you three Matic, and
Oh,
should be
here we
able to
go.
activate your. If you click on your Tether wallet right there, uh,
Oh, okay.
there you go. Now you just need to. I guess it activated.
So go back to, oh, it already went, already did the thing.
Okay.
Or should I
Um.
go back to the robot?
Yeah, you can go back to the robot, I think.
All right, let's go.
So yeah, now just click approve.
I like the logo, by the way. It's cool. All right. Nice.
So now you have a bunch of different knobs you can twist, but basically I would look on the right, the left hand side. You can look at quick placements, and you can the big thing to set is your profit threshold,
Okay.
and how many price levels you want per side.
Oh my gosh. All right, you're gonna confuse the heck out of me here.
No, no, I am
So
not an expert on this stuff, but all I know is
this is trader stuff. This is something that experienced traders would understand, huh?
it is, but if you're a new guy, it's like it's really easy to get set up. The main thing to look at is the profit threshold. It starts
Okay.
at 2%, but you can if you slide that, you can set it and it will show you right underneath what it's going to look like on the market, which is pretty cool. And then you can change the uh, number of price levels per side, and it'll update right there to show you what that would look like on the order book.
So what are the kind of advantages, disadvantages, or maybe you don't know. If you don't know, it's fine. But like this is where I'm essentially creating I'm divvying up my coins. So let's say I have $100. If I have 3 levels per side, I'm going a third, a third, a third. It just if it's right now it's 66, whatever, I don't even know. 66.33, then there's 66.32, 66.31. Is it penny increments? Is it um
So
essentially
it
right?
should it should show you exactly how much money is being used per side, so you can set the lots per level. So a lot is like a predetermined amount. So yeah, yeah, I don't know why it jumps to 77, but if you manually edit it to like yeah, I think that's a bug they have, or maybe it's not a bug, maybe it's just as a trader you don't want to use like super small amounts of money. But
Okay.
basically the way market making works is like you can eat the spread. Um, let's see. It just depends on how the market swings, and
Okay.
you can make money, you can lose money. So it's not explicitly about making money here.
Right.
Um, so
Oh,
people
there's
show
some.
up and like, how do I make money with the bot? And I'm like, well, the main purpose of this is that you're making the books. You're ensuring that there's always liquidity, that there's always orders, and yes, you can make money. You can set your own profit threshold. So if some big buyer comes in and shoots up the price, you can maybe make some money and it settles back down and that kind of thing. But
So what are the advantages of being a market maker? Again, I'm going to bring it back to Thorchain. I know when you add liquidity to their exchange, if trades are made on the network, you get a very small portion of the fees that are collected. So, are there fees? Are there is there a gain in this for the user to add liquidity?
so basically, like I said, you can eat the spread. So it's like you can make profit. There are no fees paid directly to market makers. It's not a liquidity pool. It's just one of those things
Okay.
where we have it. So if you run the bot, it tracks all of the profit. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Obviously, you don't have any coins right now. But basically, it boils down it boils down to just like how the market's going. If it's going up, if it's going down, are there a bunch of like random buy orders coming in that will eat the market? It's not guaranteed though, and I want to make that clear. Like the market maker is not just you don't just press a button and it prints you money. You can make money depending how you set things, and
Okay.
obviously, as you can see here, there's a lot of different things you can do. Uh,
So that tells me though, is that me as a user, if I'm coming on here and I want to trade, I'm not paying any fees outside of the network fees.
that's right. That's a big draw of the DEX is there's no arbitrary fee being paid to, the Decred community or DAO or, for building this. It's all on-chain fees, and obviously Litecoin the fees are super like crazy low. On Polygon the fees are crazy low. So if we can do a swap soon enough here, we can look at exactly how much we're paying in fees for the trades. Usually it's less than 1 cent. So it's basically free.
So if I want to, yeah, let's buy Litecoin. Ooh, so let's say I go here, I click here. I'm guessing, right? Okay.
Yeah, you can click on the price, and you can
Oh, see,
set.
this is interesting. This is the lots again. Do you understand the lots? As a user, I would be like, what do they mean? Is that just the
Yeah.
amount? Or
So you could ignore the lots and go right to the right of that and just put in how much Litecoin you want. You could ignore the lots. The lots are part of the reputation
look at this.
system, and I think they play into how the mesh network will work. But basically, so with Bitcoin, because the fees are much higher, you don't want users trading a small amount of Bitcoin. So let's say the Bitcoin fees are $10, which sometimes they are, right? The fees can spike up. If
Yep.
you're a user and you do $100 in Bitcoin trading and you're paying $10 in fees, you're now paying 10% towards fees, which is like a really bad trading experience. And to prevent that, they have lots. So so for Litecoin, the lots, Litecoin USDT, because it's so cheap to transact, the minimum trade is like $1. It's like really low. But
Right. Okay.
if you click on the Decred Bitcoin pair on the left there, so yeah, go over there, Decred Bitcoin. If you enter one lot in, you're gonna see it's 40 Decred, which is like $400. So on that pair,
Oh my
the
god.
minimum
So
trade is four
they're
hundred
really
dollars.
trying to minimize. Now, can I
Yeah, like
override that? If I can I override that if I just don't care?
no. So it's up to the server operator to set the lot sizes. I think they are changing it to 20 Decred per lot, or maybe even 10, because right now the Bitcoin fees are quite low. I think they're like a
Right.
dollar or less. So that it's up to the server operator, and anyone can spin up their own server. Um, but it's basically that's a way of protecting the user. So you don't want your market maker bot running and it's hitting all these like low trades and hitting all these fees, right? So this is kind of
Yeah.
a way to protect users and
Ah, got you.
make the and a big part of that is just Bitcoin's fees. If you
Okay,
like
so
again on the yeah
time out here. So the market maker themselves, when a trade is executed, they have to pay fees as well.
the, every single trade on the DEX is on chain directly user to user. So there's no
Oh,
intermediate, there's no like extra chain out there magically doing the trades. It is pure peer-to-peer atomic swaps, and all the DEX is doing is coordinating these swaps, right? Atomic
mhm.
swaps are smart contracts that are executed blockchain to blockchain. So in
Okay.
in, in they're atomic, meaning they either happen or they don't happen. There's no in between where I send you coins and you don't send me coins, right? The
Yeah.
swaps either happen or don't happen at the agreed price, which makes the whole process trustless. And that's the big deal about this. The people
Right.
listening in who don't understand, what's the point of this? Why can't I just use Coinbase or Binance? Those are centralized exchanges that they have custody of your coins. And
Yeah.
let's say you try to withdraw the coins, they may say, "Oh, you need to send a picture of yourself and you do explain where you got the coins and what you're going to do with the coins." This is all self custody. You never lose control of your coins, and it's just trustless trading. There's no KYC, and that's what makes this special. Because I have people ask me questions. Why does this matter? Why do you? Why is this who cares about this? This is a big deal for any like cryptocurrency layer one holder.
So this is like because that's kind of what BISC is, right?
No,
Or as a
no. BISC is arbitration, right? So it's like you can
you
do.
just
It's
laughed at
kind
my
of.
question.
Sorry, I
Don't
don't
worry
wanna
about
come
it. I'm
off
just
as
joking.
I don't wanna come off as pretentious, but that is so for if I recall BISC correctly, it's arbitration where it's like, all right, the user has sent me the funds. I'm gonna click a button and it uses multi-sig. So I think basically what I'm saying there is that it's not completely trustless. Like there is a margin for error from what I understand. Like so
Okay.
what people do with like I think Havano, which is the new Monero exchange, and they're using like PayPal and Cash App to send money to people. and then the people send them the Bitcoin the Monero or Bitcoin or whatever manually, right? So
Okay.
that's not completely trustless. You can call PayPal and be like, "Hey, I want my money back," and sometimes they do that, and that's a big problem with those arbitration exchanges is the scammers. And usually they're quick to get rid of the scammers and ban them, but it's like this is completely trustless. Like it's a smart contract. There's no like, oh, I sent you the money and I'm gonna play games with sending the money. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever used those type of exchanges like Local Monero but from what I understand, they're I think it's called arbitration.
Yeah, it's like it's you know, people like with I mean Bitcoin's a good example because of the fees and everything. It becomes difficult to use and they go, well, they end up going just back to the old habits and ignoring why was Bitcoin created in the first place, right? It's like to have a trustless exchange and, finality, instant finality without a third party. That's what the big benefits are. And then it doesn't take long. People go, well, this is a little inconvenient. I'm
Right.
going to take all the things that I like, the reason that this thing has value, I'm just going to ignore them. It's just a funny thing to me. The fees, everybody who's in Litecoin generally used Bitcoin and went, that's kind of expensive. And they came to
Exactly.
Litecoin because they went, it's just a better version, at least, today, because there aren't fees. And I'm kind of a believer that that should be the goal for the near term. Maybe it's 10, 15 years as you're onboarding people, fees should be as low as possible to make tools like this usable. Because what you're telling me, as a, just my honest reaction here, as a market maker, I run some risk that I'm staking these coins, or I shouldn't say staking. I'm advertising, hey, I'm open and willing to sell these coins at whatever the market price is, but there's a new ordinal mint and fees go up to $100 or something, and here I'm losing a lot of money in fees. That you know, not that I'm not voluntarily engaging this to begin with, but maybe that's unforeseen today. That I think that, oh, I mean, God, we saw how high did fees get at that one point? Remember at the halving, it was like $500 or something ridiculous. So there's a little bit of risk there because the fees are so volatile on Bitcoin. Um, where most of these other networks, they're you rarely see over a penny, except maybe Ethereum. So I don't know. Fees to me are obviously a necessity long term, and it goes back to the proof of work, proof of stake discussion, right? How do you secure the network, and keep fees low and keep everybody fed and game theory engaged to secure the network? So that would be something I would, I guess, on my initial feedback as my first look at it would be some reward for staking my coins, even if it's or not by staking, you know what I mean? Being willing to be a market maker should have I think users would be willing to pay a small fee to the market maker.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I'm
mean
saying?
that's a possibility. One interesting thing is when the market maker sets its prices, it actually takes into account the fees it will incur. So you're never actually losing money to the fees on the market maker. That's something I should have. That's really something that should be in the GUI itself that they should say. But the market maker, when it sets its prices on when it sets its orders, it's actually taking into account the fees. So it's not just
Oh,
losing
okay.
money to fees. But yeah, everything you said there's completely true. This is kind of one of the next frontiers of decentralization is like, with crypto, we can send each other coins peer to peer, but with the trading process, we're all relying on these big exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, and they have immense power and they've made immense amounts of money. And it's like, the whole point of crypto is you become your own bank. And it's
Yeah.
like with this, you're kind of becoming your own exchange. And that's kind of the way I see it. So we're kind of bringing the power back to normal users and, getting away from this craziness of KYC and fees. And, sometimes I log into Coinbase and it won't let me send or receive coins. It's like, oh, there's an error right now. We're down. And it's like, oh man, come on.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Like,
is this
hold
really
on,
the
these
future of
networks have been running
cryptocurrency?
flawlessly for over a decade. Like, why is your network down? How is that possible? Um,
Right.
yeah. So no, that's cool. I mean, that's why I wanted to talk about this. And I was interested, like I said, back when it was DCR Dex. I wish I remember who it was. I feel like I had two people. It might even been like I feel like I was on like maybe Discord or something, and they were and I rarely get on Discord, and they were talking me through it. If you're that person, message me, because I remember having a conversation, because I had the old one downloaded because you were like, hey, download Bison Wallet. And I'm like, I know I had downloaded it. I never used it because it was just really clunky back then. So there's a much better
Yeah.
interface for sure. So let's execute a trade. Let's do this live. We'll do it live, right? Know what I said?
Yeah. Well, click on your wallet and we'll see. Oh, there's something down.
Oh, oh
Okay.
no, just act like that didn't happen. Shut up. All
You
right,
might have to
let's
restart
see.
your wallet.
Oh my gosh, it
Oh,
is
only
a
38.
long.
Okay.
Well, all right. Let's try another one. We could let's buy some Decred. Decred's even, but I didn't realize because you told me you're like, hey, go on there and download it. It
Yeah.
sometimes can take a while, and I was like thinking, all right, well, let's do Bitcoin. That's fine. The first time I bought Bitcoin in a long time. Or is everybody Ethereum? Oh, you must prioritize.
Yeah, I would say, well, the thing with Bitcoin is to do a Bitcoin trade, like I was saying, you need quite a bit of it. Um,
Um, well,
let's
here,
see.
Ethereum. That's fine, right? Or is Ethereum gonna be the same way?
Ethereum also very expensive. The best pairs are going to be the coins on Polygon and Decred and Litecoin.
Well, we're moving. We could just sit here
It depends.
and
Do you already have
watch
a
39.2.
do, do you
39.2.
run a Litecoin full node?
I do have one.
So you could connect to that wallet if you prefer. It's a little bit tricky. So
Let's not do that live.
yeah,
Um,
it's not super easy. You need to set some parameters, and usually SPV is quite fast. So I don't know. Maybe it's because you're streaming. It's taking up a bunch of bandwidth. So
could be. Just wondering if I
I don't
can
know. Well,
close that.
I could show my screen if
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah, do that. Yeah, if you're
so.
already set
I
up,
don't know
perfect.
how to. Okay, we're on Streamyard.
So go down to present at the bottom.
Yeah, let me just get my screen ready. My Bison wallet.
Hey, while you're doing that, I might as well. I don't do this often enough on video. Do a little plug for Cake Wallet. I don't know if you do Cake Wallet. They don't have Decred. I'm sorry, but they do have Polygon. They got Ethereum and Litecoin and Monero and Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. I forget what else they have. Nano. They might be. I'm pushing them to add Doge. They never want to do it. But if you guys like this show, go check out Cake Wallet. They're uh, my wallet of choice all the time. They've got Cake Pay, which you can use in your wallet to go. You're going to go to the grocery store. Um, well, I shouldn't say the grocery store. They may not have grocery stores on there yet. I know I use it like at AutoZone a lot if I'm buying parts for my car and the bill is $37.15. You just buy a gift card for that exact amount. It pulls it right out of your wallet. And at the register, you can just use the card and it's done. You don't have to buy like $100 card and have a bunch of change and sitting, you know. So it's a super good tool to use your coins in this era where we don't have mass acceptance yet. So go check them out. They're adding MWeb soon, or VPM as we like to call it. Do you know anything about MWeb or VPM?
Mimble
We call
Wimble.
it. Yeah,
I know it's a privacy protocol that you guys added as it's an option. And
yeah.
I've had people. I made a post about the DEX in the Litecoin subreddit, and they were asking if it had Mimblewimble, and it doesn't. But that's something they could look into adding. And I should note here, it's an open source exchange. So if like I don't know if you have some Litecoin developers who are interested, but they could just come along and do the work, and it can get merged. So they're always open to new contributors.
Yeah, I know there's some people doing it. Hang on. This guy says it looks like I need to restart Bison Wallet. I don't think I
Yeah,
do. It just needs to
yeah,
sync up. Um, yeah, like one of the things that's speaking of Cake Wallet, they have these swaps you can do in the wallet. So I can swap from Litecoin to Monero or Litecoin to Bitcoin. And am pretty sure they're using Thor chain in the background for a lot of that, which again, Thor chain's obviously much bigger than the Decred DEX today as far as liquidity and all
yeah.
that. But there is still that element of the coin, the Thor chain coin itself, Rune, and the fluctuation in that. And is that a security risk at some point in time? Is that an issue you would have to concern yourself with? Probably not in the there's no reason to see that being, if I'm just doing a swap in and out, that would be an issue. But I guess you never know with these decentralized exchanges how decentralized there are. Is there risk you're having by putting coins on something that maybe I think there's a handful of nodes that run Thorchain, so that's always a potential risk when you talk about cracking down from governments and stuff. So I do like, this is totally peer to peer. This is peer to peer, right? I mean, that's essentially what this is. And so it'd be cool to have this thing have enough liquidity where it becomes usable, like something like Thorchain with the high volume, without having that third parties that run the network. So I think that's a really cool development that you guys have. So are you able to
Yeah.
share your screen yet?
Yeah, I just wanted to say Decred is coming to Cake Wallet. I'm a big fan of Cake Wallet. It is coming. They did the development work. They're just waiting for the Cake team to merge the work to get it added.
Oh,
And
cool.
Cake's been really busy, doing a bunch of features and stuff. So it's taking time. But yeah, the gift cards and all the stuff you can do on Cake Wallet's amazing. And yeah, I mean, Thorchain, a lot of people love Thorchain the way it operates. So, it depends what you want. With this, you're getting a full blown order book and you can set your orders. And, like, let's say you think Litecoin is worth $100, not 64. You can set an order at $100 and just leave it up, and eventually it'll get taken. Right.
Gotcha.
So,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
okay.
yeah, let me share my screen here. I think, let's see,
Well, when going back
share.
to the MWeb thing, again, I've said I wasn't going to use the phrase MWeb anymore because I think it's we had a whole podcast about it with with a marketing guy. It's just very it's very not uh, consumable for the public, right? So we're trying to use VPM, virtual private money, as this kind of like, that's what our VPM layer is, or whatever you want to call it. But I guess to us crypto native people, we know what we're talking about with MWeb. But it's getting added to Cake Wallet soon, and it was only on a core Litecoin core for a long time. And I don't know enough to say. My guess is that if it's on a wallet, I don't know if that means it's going to be on SPV or Electrum yet. But there are some developers I know working on these things to make it. We've gotten it where there's kind of a workaround to get it to use on Ledger now. And yeah, we're going to see it, I think, in Cake Wallet. Like 2 weeks ago, Vic from Cake Wallet said, like, hey, it's going to be live next week. I can use it on Cake Wallet because I was on that test flight thing. Let me see if maybe they've got an update, actually. Maybe it's done. But anyway, so yeah, by mid-October, by the 13th birthday of Litecoin, you'll have MWeb or VPM in Cake Wallet. So, all right, you got
Nice.
your self. I'm trying to update my wallets here, all my apps, and see if the Cake Wallet does its thing. All right, you ready to share? Oh, here, sorry.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. You can see it.
Yeah, hang on, sorry. Adjusting my seat here.
Okay, so yeah, I got my Litecoin wallet here, 100%. Looking at 8 peers, this is a native wallet. I've got Bitcoin, I've got some Decred, Polygon, USDC, and Tether, and I also have Firo.
Dang,
So
for
that
a
is
minute I
another.
thought you had 45 Bitcoin instead of 45
No,
Decred. I was like,
it's
dang,
it's
bro.
it's insane that 0.006 Bitcoin is $400. So the wallet does tell you all the USD prices, which is really nice. And right now, the send fees are not bad. It tells you the send fees right here. It's only 60 cents to send Bitcoin right now.
So is this
And
managing your UTX? I mean, like, obviously UTXOs, do you have stuff like coin controls and all that you can do, or no?
that's a good question. I heard some rumblings about that, but I'm not completely sure. You can change certain things, but that's a good question. I'm not completely sure on that, but
Okay.
obviously, if we look at Litecoin, it's like super super cheap to transact with,
Yeah.
which is really good.
What is that?
Um,
What's that fee? I can't even tell.
Send fee is like basically nothing.
0007. Dang.
And We got the
less than a
exchange
cent.
rate, but yeah, I can send and receive Litecoin like normal. This is a native Litecoin wallet.
Okay.
And right now, I think the server might be down. I think
No.
we hit an insanely unlucky. So I am connected to a different server. So you can run different servers. This was the testnet server we were using. It's on mainnet now,
Okay.
but there's a Decred Litecoin pair. But what I can do is I can put an order and we can do a trade. So yeah, I think we hit an insanely unlucky patch because it has not been down for a long time. But
Well, what would
let's
cause, just out of curiosity, what would cause that? Do you know? Just
sometimes the developers might take it down to do upgrades or tests, but that is a good question. And that's really so a big what they're doing next with the DEX is they're building out a mesh network. And obviously, as we see
okay.
here, you do have a point of failure with if you're just running like one server and it goes down for whatever reason. Everyone's coins are safe when it goes down, right? It's all self custody. As you can see, I can still send and receive my coins like normal, right? So
Okay.
it's not like, oh, the server's down, I can't do anything with my coins. These are all coins running on my network. And like earlier, I sent you, this was the Polygon I sent you, and we can even look at that on the blockchain. We can look at that transaction on the blockchain like normal. But once they have the mesh network, you'll have all the different servers running, and it will all appear in one order book, right? So it's like if one server goes down, it's not a problem. It's like it's just going to be a mesh. So that is what they are working towards next. That is part of the next roadmap. They're also working towards private swaps, but anyway,
Okay.
let's see. I can still put an order.
Yeah, but
Let's
you can
see.
skip, I
One
mean, you
like
can just do another. It doesn't have to be Litecoin. It doesn't if it
well,
becomes a problem.
that's all. As you can see, that's the only pair available because I'm looking at it a different exchange. I'm looking at a Bison exchange. So I have two registered dexes here, and that the dex.decred.org is the normal one, but that's down for whatever reason. And
Okay.
here I can add more servers. So if there's other servers available, I can go into those servers.
Okay.
Um, let's uh let's let's first do a trade, and then I can run a market maker bot because I do have Litecoin and Decred. So
Okay.
we'll just do one price one. Let's do 0.1 place order to buy and see what'll it'll give me the fee projection. So it's very transparent with all the fees you're going to incur. And right here, it's going to be obviously it's going to be basically free. We're doing Decred Litecoin, and this is a big thing to understand with atomic swaps. Atomic swaps are not immediate. They're not instant. They take around 10 to 20 minutes to settle, and in that time, you need to leave your client running. Now, if it does disconnect for whatever reason, you have time to reconnect, right? If you lose internet, it's not game over. It's just you have to get online within the next 24 hours to let the trade complete. And this is why we have this bond to pay when you come in, because we don't want if you're a user, I'm going to click buy here. And as we can see, the order comes right on the order book. We have our check mark indicating it's a new order, it's coming online. And if I scroll down here on the right-hand side, I can see my order. It's booked, right? It's on the order book.
Mhm.
And anyone can come along and take that order. And we can click the order details. And this is more relevant once we do the trade. So go back
Okay.
to trade. And as we can see, it's all on the order book. And then I can
Be the
buy into this order. So
okay.
before we go
Okay.
into that, there is a reputation system. And when you complete good trades, your score increases and you can trade more. However, if you, for whatever reason, are not completing trades, you will actually lose your account. And of course, you can create a new account. You just have to post a new Decred bond, which is 0.1 Decred. So there is kind
Mhm.
of this fail-safe system in there for if you have people for whatever reason they are messing with the atomic swaps, they're shutting off their computer, they will just lose their account. So you are incentivized to complete trades,
Hmm.
and you can see my trading tier.
So is this administered in some sort of
Well, it's just the
automated
software.
way?
Yeah, yeah. If your score
Uh,
goes low enough, like it'll be like, hey, your account's locked. And from there, like I just said, you can create a new account. It's never like, oh, you're permanently banned. You just have to post a new bond, and that's why you have to pay that 0.1 decred. Is you will lose that 0.1 decred if you do a bunch of bad trades. And this is one of the
hmm.
reasons this is not a mobile. Like you don't want some guy trying to do atomic swaps from his phone and then the phone shuts off because the battery runs out, or he goes into some area where there's no cell phone connection, right? So this is
Well,
why this is more.
how would I, not that we want people to be spoofers. I'm just curious, like, why would or how would I fail to make a trade?
You would fail to make a trade if you lose internet connection or you shut down the client completely.
But does the trade not
For,
get executed? Like, is it possible that I, again, I'm not trying to like
so
debunk your
so so
thing
once
here, where
again,
I receive the other end of the trade, but I didn't put up my end of the trade. Is that
so
possible?
so no, it's once again it's atomic swaps. It either happens or it doesn't. But
Okay.
basically, what would happen is the coins would refund to each different party.
Okay.
And to date, I don't think this has even happened. But
Yeah.
with Bitcoin, what has happened sometimes with Bitcoin, because the fees go crazy sometimes. So you go in to do a trade and the fees spike up. If the miner not might not process the trade, we have had it where the different parties have had to wait for refunds. But once again, with Litecoin, Decred, the Polygon pairs, which I think the people watching are really going to be interested in, that's not
Yeah.
going to happen. Like the transaction's always going to go through.
Well,
But
so
that
like
is just so.
fees go up and I'm stuck in the mempool for weeks. I can just go, you know what?
Well,
I don't want to bother. I'm just going to cancel the trade.
if for this, like if it doesn't execute within 24 hours, I forget the exact amount of time. Maybe someone on the stream knows. Uh,
Woo!
so I sorry, yeah, I'm sharing my screen, but
You were looking at oh,
the StreamYard, yeah. Um,
guy says what we do have a comment here. Why no LTC BTC or LTC USDC pair? I think there was a USDC pair.
so
Wasn't
there
there?
was USDT. They can add any of those
Oh,
different pairs. They can add pairs for any coin on the deck. So you could do Litecoin to Firo, you could do Litecoin Zcash. They all work. But they want to only add pairs that have lots of volume and lots of liquidity. So if someone from Litecoin is like, hey, I'll run a market maker, Litecoin, Bitcoin, they can get that set up, right? It's just a matter of someone being like, hey, I'll provide some of the funds, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It just needs to be something. But anyway,
right.
I have my order book, and now I can do the trade into myself, and it shouldn't count towards my score. So the DEX knows I'm trading against myself. So I can click this, it populates the price, and I don't know. I'm doing one decred. Place the order to sell, and I'm going to sell, and it's going to come on the order book, and then it's going to match my trade, and it should execute my trade. Right.
Yes,
So
this is what I was going to say about the reputation thing. You can just trade with yourself and grow a reputation.
no, the DEX they have, as you can see, the DEX knows that was my own order, so they're not going to grant me a
Oh, that's
score,
good to
and
know.
so that was a bug they fixed. I remember that.
But I could like, I could run two computers sitting next to each other.
Yeah, I mean, but if you wanna
Hypothetically,
do
right?
that, that's up to you, but you're
Yeah,
just
to
gonna be
gain what,
eating,
right?
on train you could fake the volume, so at the top here, it did record that as real volume, that's a
Yeah, yeah.
thing. Uh, so right here, we can see it's settling. These are my orders, and what this basically means is on chain, these orders we are now doing the swaps. So
Yep.
1 Decred for zero point 0.1 Litecoin, which is I don't think is the real price, but we're just doing this for the sake of the swap. So it needs two confirmations on Litecoin. Then it'll do Decred and Litecoin again.
So does it okay, because the market has everybody's wallets, you don't have to like because that's one of the things a lot of times you'll see. I remember back in Shapeshift, right? Back in the day, it was like you had to give a receiving address. You had to add your new receiving address because there was
No, there's
some
there's none of
function where
that.
they yeah, because it has all your receiving addresses. So it's you're like a user in there. This identifies you as user 12345 and you've got wallets attached to your username. So when you do a trade, it knows where to send everything.
Exactly. It's all
Yeah.
built in. There's no need for addresses. And I think with Shapeshift, it was one of those centralized services where you actually gave them custody, and then they sent the funds back, and you had to hope they sent the funds. And a lot of these services like Change Now, these are nice services that people use to swap. But like when you send them your coins, there's no guarantee they're going to send it back. right?
Right.
And again, like it is not trustless. I've actually used one of those exchanges where it took a month for them to send me the coins. I had to go back and forth, and they are collecting fees. They are charging like 5% for their services, and again, those services, if people want to use them, it's fine. But it's like this is trustless. There is 100% guarantee I am getting these coins. I am trading a Decred for 0.1 Litecoin, and we already had one
Unless
confirmation.
somebody decides to back out of it. But regardless, you'll end up with what you started. You won't lose everything, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You'll have
exactly.
something in your wallet after 24 hours. Hopefully,
Right,
it should be 99.9 the other thing you wanted, but there is a random chance you won't get that because of network issues, whatever. Your computer goes offline for whatever reason. Okay,
right,
that's good.
and we can actually look at the Litecoin right on the blockchain explorer, which is really nice. So it's all, it's all transparent. It's all linked to block explorers. It's not like you're sitting around trusting or waiting or wondering what's going on. We've already had one confirmation. It's using SegWit. So
Okay. Yeah, this is one of those things that a lot of times new users to crypto in general. I mean, all of us did this where you would be like, really, okay, I sent it. Let me go look at the block explorer. Let me make sure it happened, and you get very paranoid about it. But when you've used them a lot of times, you get in the habit of like, once it's good, it's good. Like I don't have to sit around and look at it or baby it because I know it's going to happen. And this is probably one of the same type of thing. Like it's once you use it a while, you start to gain confidence in it because you start to recognize, hey, once it's broadcast to the networks, there's not much I have to worry about.
yeah, and going back to my wallet here, you can actually here's my Litecoin balance. It actually knows it locks that 0.1 Litecoin, and it knows I'm swapping it. So it's all very transparent. And on the right here, here's my Litecoin transaction history. I have a send, and this is my swap. So once again, I can see it on the block explorer.
Okay.
So it's all right there. And going back to the trade, it's down here. So yeah, and this is part of it. You just have to wait for these swaps to execute.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again,
And
we don't have to sit here and
yeah,
watch it. It's going to happen, right? And Decred's every 5 minutes, so it might be.
yeah, it might
Are those pretty regulated now with proof of stake? Is it almost 5 minutes on the money?
well, it's still using the GPU. I can take a look at the Decred blockchain. So I think it's kind of, yeah, I think it's about every 5 minutes. But basically, in Decred, I
Yeah.
forget the exact terminology, but every single block, it recalculates the difficulty, which is for the
Yes.
miners. So
Bitcoin
it's
Cash
just
does that.
because you don't want a bunch of GPU miners coming in and messing with things. So it's pretty interesting there. Uh,
Interesting.
but but yeah, looking at the let's turn on dark mode there, night mode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we have this is what fuels the whole thing. That this is what built it is the treasury. So we have $11 million in Decred that is used to
Jesus
pay developers.
Christ.
Yeah, and Decred's
How do you
only
tap into that?
$12. So so if Decred could go to $100, which hey, maybe it could, the treasury will be worth 100. We're quite frugal with the treasury. It's not something to be uh, spent like a maniac. Because we understand this is what keeps the whole thing going. Without the treasury, it gets things get tricky. Like people have to pay bills. People aren't these developers aren't going to work for free. They're very talented. You know,
Right.
if they can make $200,000, $300,000 at Google or whatever, why would they work for free? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So to get into the treasury, I'm assuming the users have to vote on
Yeah, let me
proposals.
yeah let me show that. So if you go to
'Cause
proposals,
we got into a couple years ago bounties. One of our friends, Indigo Nakamoto, he started doing bounties just by himself, and then he and I discussed quite a bit about like how to formalize it. He ended up going to the foundation because they're much better than I would be at this, to kind of formalize the bounty process because there's a lot to it, right? You have to vet the proposal that it's a good thing, that it'll work, and then how do you confirm that it got done? as advertised, so to speak?
So here on my screen, I have the proposal platform, and this is for the so Monero is coming to the Bison Wallet or DCR DEX.
Okay.
It is a coin that will be added, and here's the proposal. This is stage one. They're working on adding it. Adding it's not easy because it doesn't have scripting. So Litecoin, Bitcoin, Decred all have a scripting transaction language, which Monero does not have, and that is a pretty integral part of doing these atomic swaps. But it is possible to add, and here's the proposal. They write up, here's what we're going to do. Here's who's going to work on it. Here's the prices, and people can leave comments on what they want. This is a smaller proposal. We have a list of all our different proposals. We were integrated into Basic Swap. So I don't know if you've heard of Basic Swap.
Yeah.
Uh,
They have MWeb basic swap
yeah,
decks.
yeah. So they do atomic swaps with Monero, and they had a proposal they asked for $50,000 to add Decred, and it was approved, and they added it, and now we have Decred on Basic Swap. And let's see, I'm trying to find a Decred DEX proposal. So here's the proposal for the market maker. So this was last year. They asked for $73,000 to build out the market makers, and as you can see, it was approved, 89% approval. And Decred holders they vote from their wallet. So right in your Decred wallet, there is a voting button. And actually, I didn't show this yet.
How's that
Okay,
deployed
so
though? How do you who's out there confirming that it actually was achieved?
that the work was completed.
Yeah.
Well, you can't do that on chain, but obviously
Yeah.
it was delivered. I mean, obviously there is a potential. Well, so the way it works, every month they bill against the treasury. They have to show what the work they did. So that would be in the case of developers, GitHub commits, code, that kind of thing, and obviously other people in that area audit that to make sure that happened.
Yeah,
But
so I was wondering
generally,
who does the auditing. Yeah, because it's
yeah, but generally
obviously
the,
it's
the
difficult.
Generally, the proposals come from people who are already kind of trusted within the community, or it's a proven developer. So if some guy comes forward with a proposal and he has no GitHub activity, he's a nobody, it probably won't be approved. But like in Basic Swap's case, they have a team of people, they built a product, and you can trust, okay, they're going to do what they say, right?
I know,
So
but I'm
obviously,
saying, like, who is there? Is it just the voters are the ones that are uh, deciding to release this money that was promised, or is there like
yeah,
a board of directors type of thing? I'm just, again, I'm not trying to
sure,
poke holes. I'm just
yeah,
curious
yeah, it's
because it's
confusing.
governance
So
is very can be
if
very confusing, right?
So if we go over here to staking, you can actually stake in Bison Wallet, which is pretty cool. If you own enough Decred, you can set your votes. So this was the consensus change. It's still here, but I can vote yes, no, I can abstain. This was when
Okay,
we changed the block reward right here. So if you were staking in this wallet, you could choose what you want to do. You can vote, and then we have the treasury spends. I can't select it. This is a weird server, so let's see. Usually you'd be able to select the treasury spend. So yes, the stakeholders do decide to vote on a treasury spend each month to release the funds to the people who work on the Decred DAO.
okay,
But as far as auditing the work, the developers audit amongst all the different developers who work on the project basically can go in and check the different invoices and see, is this person doing what they said? And in
right.
the proposal, they have a set limit that they can bill against. Let's see if I can find
Okay.
the treasury spends. There's somewhere around here.
Well, so at
So if
some
we
point
click
the
on,
treasury spend goes away too, right? Like you have a capped supply, so at some point in time there are no more coins to be distributed.
well, the treasury is eventually, yeah. I mean, the treasury is self-funding from 10% of every block reward, so it is growing over time. But if we click on the treasury right here
Oh
in the
well, fees. Yeah,
distribution,
eventually they'll get a portion of fees if there are fees in the future.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
technically,
deep diving, picking Decred apart. I'm
yeah.
just curious.
But like, yeah, we can. So this was a treasury spend. We can click it and see this one at 76 approval. And you can see
Okay.
all the different addresses that it received Decred from this treasury spend. So it's all very transparent. Uh,
I
let's
guess at
see,
the end
click
of the
on
day,
this.
if you're a holder and you don't agree with things that are happening, you can just sell your coins and move on with your life, right?
Yeah, basically, if you don't
That's
if you
the
don't like
name.
what's happening, and You can see this spend was worth $50,000. So that was a month of work. Usually the treasury spends are between 50 to $100,000 per month of work done across the entire network. That includes development, marketing, running the infrastructure, just making bug fixes, all the different work. So the project spends about $1 million a year, I'd say, to just do
Hmm.
everything and deliver things like the DEX, and we have Lightning Network for upgrading and all that kind of stuff. But going back to our trade
Dude,
here,
don't
let's
get into the Lightning Network. I'm telling you, it's bad news.
well,
I
the
know. I'm a
yeah,
hater. That's all there is to it.
yeah, it's Lightning's it's pretty complicated. We do have a what's it called, a something called Bison Relay, which is a communications platform on
Yeah, I've
Lightning
heard of
Network,
that.
and it's crazy private. And there's actually no user account, so it's impossible to censor someone or to track someone. But it's still very much a work in progress. But if you're a security nut, and you're a big fan of Lightning, it's worth looking into. But
Well,
obviously, with
that's just voice, right? Like I'm not, or I'm just texting. There's no money involved.
so you can send money to people. It's using Lightning, so you can send whatever money you want. And for every message you send, it does use like 1 atom of Decred, which is the Decred equivalent of a Satoshi. So it's
Okay.
like if you put in like $1 worth of Decred, it'll last you like forever. So,
Okay.
all right. So our
That's kind of
Litecoin
cool.
maker swap completed. Now we're just waiting on Decred. So yeah, this one's taking a little bit longer. Like if you do Polygon, Polygon is super quick to confirm. It's really nice. Like I've done Polygon swaps where it's like less than 10 minutes. So yeah,
Oh,
I,
whatever.
I'm
Yeah. I mean, I think people, I guess the message would be dabble to start, right? You're obviously comfortable with it. You're putting plenty of money on here, but anybody new, test it out. I've always said that about any tool you're going to do the first time. Put $10 on there, get comfortable with it, and then slowly but steadily grow your exposure to it as you get comfortable with it. Like with anything.
Yeah, for sure. Like this, yeah, start really small, do some small swaps and see how it works and if you like it. And we haven't had any issues thus far. This thing's been online for like years, obviously as DCR Dex. And and in the bull run in 2021, it did like I think man, it did like millions in volume. It was not a small amount of money. It was quite a bit. I'll have to recheck.
Well, so
I,
what do you guys envision as who's the user here? Because I often I give developers a hard time sometimes because sometimes people build things because they think they're cool, like we can do it, so let's do it, without really thinking about like what's the use case, is there really a customer or a market for this that needs satisfying that isn't being satisfied today? Because my initial thought to this is again going back to I'm a merchant and I want to accept coin A and move it into coin B. Like just it because I'm trying to avoid volatility or legality, whatever my reasons are. I like the idea that everything I receive can be converted into something else um, without having to, sign up like we talked about, sign up for some exchange and pay some sort of fee and all this crap. I just want to get into the coin I want to get into. Um, what was the kind of vision in building this? Just this permissionless dark
so
market of
sure.
trading. I hate to put it that way, but
So I don't know if you know this, but back in 2017, the first ever atomic swap was done between Decred and Litecoin, and Charlie Lee was involved with it. I
hmm
don't know if you were aware of that.
I didn't know.
But
I know that I know the first. He did the first Lightning transaction. He did a lot. He was the first of a lot of things.
yeah, so him and Decred, they did the first Decred Litecoin atomic swap, and back then, of course, it was with command line. It was there was no user interface. It was all gritty, but they did the swap and it worked. And they said, hey, and there was a bunch of news about it. Eventually, they did Litecoin, Bitcoin, Decred Bitcoin, and it made some news. And people were like, wow, this is great. You can now trustlessly trade. And no one did anything with it. It was like people moved on. But in Decred, they were like, hey, we should make an exchange out of this. So the vision obviously is like I've said before, you can become your own exchange. You don't have to worry about KYC. You don't have to worry about fees. And this is like the final frontier of crypto is like getting away from the centralized exchanges. Like there's such a roadblock. Like to think they control crypto, and we've seen recently with Monero. Monero got delisted from Binance. It might get delisted from all the exchanges, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what happens in Monero's case if it gets delisted from everywhere because for whatever reason the centralized exchanges don't like it? What are they going to
Well,
do
it becomes it certainly is one of those things that I've always said this, like businesses are like, look, it's not worth it to me, right? Yeah, I might want to be a cypherpunk and all that, but I'm not going to go out of business. So I don't see anybody dying on that hill, so to speak.
Well, if you're a big privacy guy, Monero's big
Yeah,
community, it's like did the Monero are Monero people just going to give up and say, "Oh, it's over, Binance solicit us," or are they going to move to truly decentralized systems, which is like what this offers? And we're going to
yeah.
add Monero to this system, and they're going to be able to do swaps, and it's Monero is going to be able to keep going as a cryptocurrency. So it's like what you're saying with the merchant adoption. I mean, it's like I'm not really sure what to say to that. I mean, they could use this. I mean, this wasn't built in the mind of like, oh, merchant adoption. This was built for people to trustlessly trade their assets with no middlemen, no KYC, et cetera. So,
Yeah, what I mean by merchants is that one of the hangups of accepting cryptocurrencies is that the first thing I remember when I first started buying Bitcoin, my dad was like, "Hey, well, what do you do with it? Like, what if I want to sell it?" I'm like, "Well, you just sell it. It's not. It takes literally like 24 hours a day. I can sell it anywhere around the world, right?" Um, and I think businesses, one of the things that is difficult for them is, they got their POS systems, and um, they maybe don't want to expose themselves to the volatility of crypto. Um, and so the idea that you would have a place that I don't have to onboard and KYC, and I can just, at the end of the day, take whatever I received and settle it into, maybe I want to settle it into dollars, or I want to settle it into Decred or Litecoin. I can do that in a way that I don't have to register. Look, the reality is this is created as a tax evasion, whether you want to call it inflation or direct tax evasion, where I can receive it as cash. It's a cash payment. I don't have to disclose that to anybody. Um, and I don't have to pay an inordinate amount of fees in order to swap from one to the other. It was something I posted the other day about um, when you're onboarded. I was thinking about remittances. And if you had somebody in the US today and I wanted to get them, hey, I want to take $200 and send it to my family down in Argentina, there's not a very cheap way to do that. You know, I got to go on to, if I want to buy them in PayPal, they charge like 2.5%, which is fucking ridiculous, to be honest with you. So finding ways that people can get into crypto and move it and get out of it without having to pay these fees, I think is what I'm interested in. And so I think this is one of those steps. Now, obviously, getting from cash into USDT or USDT back out to cash, that's maybe the final frontier. And again, hopefully that becomes peer to peer at some point, that we learn to actually, hey, yeah, you got cash, great, and I can give you USDT, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. But I'm rambling, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
so yeah, I mean, with this, you can swap into, we do have. I just turned on my dark mode, so it looks a little different. But you
Oh, okay.
can you can swap into Tether or USDC, and then you can just send it where you want to send it. If you want to send it anywhere in the world, and obviously USDC is on all the centralized exchanges, and you can convert that to real money, you're free to do that. Like here's the thing: is like you can't put fiat in a smart contract. So in this
Yep.
case, the DEX is only crypto to crypto, and it's like we're always going to need the centralized exchanges because you can connect your bank account and you can put on fiat and you can convert the fiat to crypto. They are providing a service. I'm not saying this is here to replace sexes because it's not. I'm just saying this is a great alternative because if you look at how a lot of people trade these days, they're trading between crypto and the stable coin, right? Like it's
Hmm.
like you know right, exactly. So this offers that. If you look at Binance, it's like crypto to USDT. And that's what we're offering with this exchange is you have all these different pairs and you can do that. And yeah, if you want to turn it into fiat currency, I can send these coins. I have sent coins from this wallet, USDC. I have sent 44 USDC to Coinbase and it accepts it and I can do what I want with
Yeah.
it. So it's all still there to use. One
Yeah,
thing I was gonna do.
stable coins I've really, to me, is, I think, has become the obvious first path that when people have that, there's always the meme, it's the Trojan horse, and they put Bitcoin in the Trojan horse. Um, I think stable coins are the Trojan horse because
Yeah.
they allow you to enter this world. Like if you got paid in stable coins, now you're in this world, right? You have access to everything. Um, it's a much easier jump, and then maybe eventually we get to where people get paid in cryptos, and we've completely abolished fiat. But like the reality is, this is where people are engaging. This is where people are onboarding into crypto is in stable coins, and so rather than sitting here trying to say, well, we don't want to engage with these things, I think you have to say it's a reality and it's an opportunity to um, to onboard people into actual real money, not just fiat. But I don't know. Are we done? Has this not happened yet? I gotta tell you, 23 minutes.
Yeah, this is a bad. This is probably one of the slowest I've seen.
It's all right. I'm busting your
Yeah.
chops. I know
Let's
it'll.
let's see let's see if I can do a
Also,
mark.
Decred's the problem here.
Maybe. Litecoin
This says
wasn't
we only
super
have.
fast there. It's got one, but yeah, to answer that, stable coins obviously they're you do have to trust. Uh, look,
Tether.
Tether
Yeah.
runs USDT.
Hmm.
Coinbase owns USDC. They can do what they want. If you want to trade into stable coins, it's up to you if you want to use them. Obviously, like you said, it's kind of a Trojan horse. But it's just again, it's one of those things. The market just like they love stable coins. Everyone's doing USDC, USDT. It just is what it
Hmm.
is. And if the Litecoin community comes forward with some liquidity, we can have a bunch of crypto to crypto pairs. So I'm going to go over here to the market maker. I'm going to put $20 into it. Uh, just some basic. I'm going to put. Let's see. I'll put 5 levels per side. We'll do one lot level. We'll do a 1% spread, and I can change the price increment. We'll just leave it here. Save settings, allocate, and it's basically going to tell me, okay, we have your funds. So it's only going to allocate these funds from my wallet. It's not going to take all my funds. It's not like a thing where it just burns all your funds. And I'm going to click run, and it's going to run. And basically, it will track my profits. It's going to track all the different orders, all the different fees I'm going to incur. And if we go on the order book, it should populate.
Yeah, something is going on with the DEX right now. Bad timing. But um, how do you how is the profit made? This is my last kind of thing I want to explore here. Is it just a matter of
Well,
based on the trades that have happened?
yeah, I
Like
mean,
have I?
look,
Go
so
ahead. Sorry.
so as you can see, the market maker has now populated this order book. Before there was nothing. Now I have all my different trades, and it shows me my trades here on the depth chart. But basically, you're not you set your spread. So it's like let's say the price is say there's a 1-2% spread, and the market shifts up a little bit. It eats your trades, then it falls back down. You can make a little bit of money off that. And we have had people on Twitter post screenshots of them making like $10 in a few days or whatever. Right
Okay.
now, the market, I mean, yeah, it's not guaranteed. I want to make it clear. It's like it's not guaranteed you're going to make money. It's mainly about making the markets. I now have the market made. People can come along and take these trades. Uh, but yeah, it just depends how the market shifts, how the trading's going. Like let's say it shoots up a little bit, then returns back to the median price. You can make a little bit of money. But yeah, that's the market maker.
Well, if it go in the inverse, if it goes down a little bit and comes back, do you lose a little money?
Um,
Technically, I mean, like
no,
you
I mean,
lose USD or something, but you're not losing anything
I
technically.
think you can make money going both ways. Like it eats the spread going both ways,
Okay.
right? Because like I'm doing Decred Litecoin. It probably makes sense to do it more with the stablecoin pairs to really see what you're making.
Yeah, no,
But
it's fair.
I
I'm just trying to understand it. So it's just that you're taking advantage of the spread, essentially.
exactly, and just the
Okay.
way the market moves, and we are going to have a tutorial out on this, hopefully with more data. Like we're trying to really analyze how exactly market, like I'm not a market making expert, right? Like I'm just saying what I understand. Um, But there's a reason why when you hire a market maker to make markets on centralized exchanges, you have to pay them a fee. Like they aren't doing it like you can't just arbitrarily make profit from doing this.
The goodness
Like
of their
they
heart.
they
Yeah.
know they might lose money, so they charge fees for their services. So you have to give them the coins and you have to give them money on top of that. Oftentimes it's quite a bit of money. But let's
Well, and I
see.
think if it's something that, let's say I have two assets that yeah, I like Decred and Litecoin, and I stake both of them. Like on paper, I might be losing US dollar value, but I'm not really losing. I'm still holding both of those assets the
Exactly, yeah.
entire time. And I mean, it's kind of like if I'm holding Litecoin, it's sitting in a wallet, and the market price goes down, I'm losing money technically, but I'm not losing my coins. You're never losing
Right.
coins. It's just a matter of did they did it play out that the US dollar value of those coins changed at some point in
Yeah, yeah, and again, if you can set your so if I go here, I'm gonna stop it and I can rework the settings if I want to. Uh you're the one setting all the different spread and there's a bunch of different strategies you can do. Let me see if I can access it. Okay.
you need to call your the Decred developers and tell them to turn it back on.
I know I reported I was like, "Hey guys, the
Bad
I think the
timing.
server's down." It's like the worst timing possible, but
Yeah,
hey,
that's all
we
right.
can make it work. But we go here
And
so
everybody's
you
used an exchange
can
before, so they get the idea.
So it's like you can set the profit threshold if you don't want you can keep it super tight if you want to, which is it's good if you're trying to make the market, right? You want a tight order book. But if
Yeah.
you're like, you know what, I want to eat the spread, I want to set it at like 2.5%, I can set the price increment. So you can change stuff, you can configure it manually, you can manually do all the different placements. And there's
Yeah,
different
but
strategies. There's
the larger the spread, the less likely you're ever going to see an order filled.
Yeah, I mean, unless the market swings, right? Because that does happen. The markets do swing sometimes, so especially in a bull run. But this is the stuff I don't understand. Like you have a different bunch of different strategies. I should really get one of the developers on to talk about this because this is a little bit over my head. But you can do quick placements. So,
Yeah, the way I'm
but
envisioning it is like if somebody else is has a different profit threshold than you, their automated system will go actually buy your orders in order to keep track of to keep the market steady. Anyway, I'm not just
so here
ignore
we
me.
have a guy. He's putting $2,000 into it, and he's going to track.
Can you make that a little
Uh,
bigger? You zoom in.
yeah, I'll click the pictures. So I don't know if this looks good.
Yeah, it's better.
So he's going to do a market maker. He's allocating $2,000 to Decred and USDT. He's showing us he's setting a 0.5% threshold. So
Okay.
he's got his 80 Decred, 1000 USDT. He's letting it run. And this is how it's going to look. And he's going to report back soon, what money he made. This is going to be important to see, how much people are making and that you can make money from this from just providing liquidity on a trustless exchange. Uh, there's one other guy to the moon. So he earned $60. So we'll click this. So it tracks your profit loss. He earned $60 on he put $2,000 in and he earned $60 in 5 days. So not bad.
Okay.
So yeah, $60, 5 days. That's pretty good for
Yeah,
just
for
like
not
letting
doing
a bot run.
well, yeah, and I mean, obviously, you have to look at, like, why that was. Was Decred go up a lot during that time? or was it due to
Not really.
volatility? Was it
Maybe.
due to just okay?
Well, this was on September 18th. I think there was that rate cut. They cut some interest rates, and there was a little bit of
Oh,
market volatility, but
yeah.
yeah,
Still, that's the for $2,000. That's 3%
right.
in
It's
5
not
days. That's
bad.
pretty good.
It's
Yeah,
very
as an APR, that'd be pretty nice. If I could make 3% a week, what's that equal? 150% a year.
yeah.
Yeah, but nothing to be relied upon. Yeah, the same thing like with Thorchain. I love that they do that. They'll advertise like, "Oh, Litecoin staking right now is a 80% return on your money." It's like that's over the. I mean, I don't know what you're using as a time frame, but that's over like a couple days. We're talking years. You shouldn't advertise APRs when you're talking when you're only snapshotting a day or two, right? But
Right.
that's just
Well,
bad marketing. But
eh,
it is what it is.
yeah, this swaps, I guess Decred slowed today, but you can see the fees. Maybe blow this up. The fees are 0.0000001.53 Litecoin, which is basically free, and it'll be similar for Decred. So
Yeah.
we did a trustless swap. It's basically free. We're not paying any arbitrary fees. We're not doing KYC, and I am always retaining custody of my coins. So this is all my different wallets. So this is
Okay.
Bison Wallet. So maybe we could do something quick, or I could put together a video for you guys once we have the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
market back up of doing something. It's pretty cool. You can do USDC to Tether atomic swaps. So if you show up to the exchange with Tether and you want USDC, you can do the swaps, and it works quite well.
Okay.
So yeah,
That might be a good place to start if you're looking to just if you're interested in doing this, you probably want to pick the more liquid markets that that runs the least amount of risk. Um, you got to probably use a stable coin today, but yeah, okay. This is a cool tool. I think we've covered it pretty well, and I appreciate you taking an hour and a half here to explain it. It's too bad it didn't work. Maybe, like you said, if you have some videos in the future you want to send over and just hit me, send them to me and let me know to retweet them, and I'll do that. I
yeah,
think
for
that'll
sure.
be a good step. And if there's other people like even on this video, if you want to comment some other people to follow, or like you mentioned those accounts that people are doing that, I'd say go for it. And anybody who watched this will then see who they'll be tagged in the video, so to speak. And I don't know who they are either, so I can put them in the like in YouTube description or something. So, but yeah, guys, go check it out. It doesn't take long to get certainly downloaded. Obviously, you have to get the blocks synced, which takes some time, but I would just treat it like a core node. You're just gonna download it, let it sit on your computer overnight, and you'll wake up and they'll all be ready to go in the morning. And yeah, check it out. So if you don't got anything else, I'll end it.
Yeah,
Hang out for a minute after the fact.
I'll just sign off with just saying, yeah, dex.decred.org. We're still working on a website for Bison Wallet, but just come down right here, turn off the dark
Oh yeah,
reader.
how do you? That's probably the good question. I'll be honest with you. When I first was doing it, I was looking for like Bison Exchange, and so I was like, well, I don't want the wallet. I want an exchange, and I was searching. We're like, why? Where is this thing? But it is just the wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean they call it that because it's like it's a wallet first and foremost with built-in asset exchange. It's kind of like, Samurai Wallet where it's like it's a Bitcoin wallet, but the main purpose is you can do the mixing.
yeah.
So that was one thing I forgot to. I'll just quickly say, if you go to Decred, we do have a built-in privacy mixer right here. All I do is I press a button and it will send my funds through a mixnet. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool.
So
I love the I love toggles like that. That's one thing we've
yeah,
been discussing. It'd be cool in a wallet. Like MWeb on Cake is pretty cool. Like, you know what? Hey, let me see if that updated actually.
yeah,
While we're doing it. Because they did yeah, they essentially have a toggle that if you don't want to use MWeb, you don't have to. So you just if you want to engage with it, you toggle it, and then it doesn't see your MWeb coins unless that's toggle is on, which is kind of cool. So uh all right. Well, good. Thanks. Like I said, hang out for a second. I end it, and you don't have to leave right away. But
let me
uh,
just can I just say one more thing?
sure, sure.
Sorry. Yeah, you download it at dex.decred.org. And if you guys at Litecoin want to add Mimblewimble, go to our GitHub repo. You can access it on Bison Wallet by clicking in the top right here and just clicking on homepage or docs, and it will come up right here. This is it's DCR DEX GitHub repo, and just like, yeah, just if you want to add Mimblewimble, like this is the place. It's all very active. They're constantly updating it, so that's the place. And yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, follow him. Exitus, your handle looks like is Exitus, like it's spelled Exitus DCR on Twitter or X. I like to call it Twitter. I'm going to never stop calling it Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and follow him. And
Okay. Did I
I'm
it
sorry.
completed? Wait, I think it
Oh, it did?
completed.
I just
I think
huh?
so. No, no, we're waiting on Litecoin.
What?
Okay,
Oh,
we
it
have
has
to do
to.
one confirmation. So yeah, this was the longest I've ever seen an atomic swap. So yeah, we got pretty unlucky today, but I think
It's Decred. That
yeah.
was the problem.
But yeah, okay, yeah. So as you could just this was the swap, super low fees. It went through. The coin should be in my wallet. So yeah, see, I'm getting my 0.1 Decred. I got my 0.1 Litecoin. It's right here.
Okay.
I got it. It's here. I did the
That was just a
trading. I got
function
more.
that
I
there was
bought
like
Litecoin, guys.
there was a long Decred block there. That's what caused the
Yeah,
problem, right?
yeah.
That's
We had
what
a
hey,
long.
it
We had
happens,
a.
man. We've all sat there. It always
Yeah.
happens at the worst time. You're
My
like
recommendation with atomic swaps is don't sit there looking at it. Just go do something else and come back. And
I remember I used to have we had Litecoin I still have mine actually. I'll show it to you. They don't operate anymore, but it still sits in my wallet. My old Litecoin Visa card. It was
Mhm.
like preloaded, And I remember one time I was like going to buy something and I was like, oh shit, I don't have any in there. So I went to the website. I'm like trying to get some money added to the card. And it was like a freaking 16-minute block or something on Litecoin, which is the equivalent of yeah, like an hour long block on Bitcoin, which does happen from time to time. And you're just like, of all times, I'm sitting here waiting in the parking lot to go into this place for money to get added. But you're right. Pre-plan a little bit if you're going to do this type of stuff. So, all right. Appreciate it. Follow Exitus, Exitus DCR on Twitter, and have a good day, everybody. Have a good Saturday. Enjoy the weekend.
Yep.